It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out of my mind. It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. I'm putting you out, trash day. I'm putting you out of my mind. Now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up the house. I'm taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage.
It starts with some beer, so you shouldn't have fear. Two garbage guys with facts, but they both still have tact. It's that time at last for the best damn podcast. It's Can Crusher Day!
And welcome to another Can Crusher Spotlight. I am your host, Mark Martinez, and this spotlight is a little bit different from all the other spotlights, as yesterday I got to unknowingly compete, get evaluated, just get beat up, more or less, in the Ohio Valley Wrestling Combine, a media combine, as it may. And today I'm waking up a little sore, Jay Bradley and Callie pretty much put it to me as Chad Miller and Al Snow stood on the sidelines and snickered. So we have my grading from all of them, more or less. All of them tell me how great of a wrestler I'm going to be and how they expect me to just take over the wrestling industry, starting at OVW. So I can't wait till you guys get to hear that. And then later on in the show, I had the chance to sit during one of Al Snow's seminaries, lessons, practices, trainings, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it, more or less. And I talked to three of the trainees, superstars, more or less that way, that are going to be going to the Combine this Saturday. But first we'll start with my grading, and we'll head to Callie and Jay, and then wrap that section up with Al Snow. And then we'll come back and, talk about what I saw at practice. So, all right, let's head it over to Callie. She's going to say how great I am. I might even beat her for the women's championship. So I just got done with the media relations combine, and I'm sitting in this conference room that's hotter than hell, and Callie's here. And Callie, how did I do? I should be able to be signed, right?
First of all, who invited you?
Well, Chad Miller invited me.
I don't know why you would ever do that, because you should have seen yourself trying to squat. You should have seen yourself trying to bench press. You were shaking. That's just embarrassing. Who invited you?
I did well. I got him up a couple times. I ran back and forth.
I lifted the same weight you did.
You are the OVW Women's Champion. I am the master of podcasts. That's about it.
CALI. You ain't got no crushers. Bye.
What?
That's the new song. Because obviously, we both saw what happened out there.
Yeah, I was a train wreck. Let's be honest.
More
I was
than
a
train wreck.
Like
a bus wreck, a bike crash, a car crash. I don't even know what else.
So I cannot be a wrestler.
You looked like the Titanic out there sinking, okay? That's what you looked like.
All right, Callie, but the Combine is coming up, and you have to go through it, and you're ready, correct? You are ready. You are set to go. You have a match Saturday night as well against Meg?
Yes. She's pretty big, but I'm the smartest one, so I'll be fine.
Okay.
I know I can outsmart her.
You outsmarted me. You definitely outsmarted me today and put me through a rigorous combine, which I know that I am not up to your level. So
clearly.
So thank you, Callie.
You're welcome.
And good luck Saturday at the Combine and in your match.
I don't need any.
And we're here at the Media Combine with Jay Bradley. First of all, Jay, welcome back to Can Crushers. One of the first interviews from OVW, and I'm happy to get to meet face-to-face once again with you.
Wait, so you're someone who actually likes to see me again?
I do like seeing you. I don't know why, but...
I think you might be one of like you besides my mother and my grandmother. I think it's a small circle.
I just talked to your grandmother.
No.
You're down to 2.
That's been all bullshit, huh?
Yeah, it's
all these
me
years.
and your mom.
What, she was just giving me money to go away then growing up. Then.
Right, that's all it was.
Okay.
So you're good to go there. But let's talk about your involvement in the Combine. You and Callie just put me through a rigorous media Combine. Al Snow has yet to talk to me about a contract. Do you think it's there?
I'm going to be brutally honest. Probably not.
Really?
Yeah, there was a ranking on the Snow scale. I think you're about a 1, where it means buy a ticket, enjoy the show. I think that's probably where you're at.
It was 2.2. Get it right.
Oh, well, okay. So then,
not a prospect.
Not a prospect, or don't quit your day job.
So stay being a garbage man.
Probably in your best interest.
All right.
But that's all right, because we need people like you to support pro wrestling, because without fans, I don't have a job.
Good. And as of right now, you probably are down to 1 now. Just your mother likes you.
Well, actually, your wife did like me, because she said I choked you when we first met, and she said you need to finish the job. So I do have 10% of your life insurance coming. If I do finish. So.
You do. So, all right, serious note. Let's talk about the Combine and what you are going to be doing on Saturday. You are going to be training. You're going to be helping, judging, a little bit of that aspect. What are you going to be just telling me your verbiage?
So from my understanding, I will be here to help assess the prospects, put them through various parts of the Combine, what my exact activity, if you want to call it that, or exact portion, what that will be. I think is yet to be determined. I think I'll probably at some point definitely be involved with the in-ring portion, or the talking skills, promotion part of it, the promo part of it, speaking part, since that's kind of my forte, and we have strength conditioning coaches that are well beyond my knowledge as far as the strength and fitness aspect of it. And then beyond that, also be analyzing it for the content that we're going to be filming, due to my experience in pro wrestling and my travels and seeing a lot of different training types and being around a lot of different talent, of various skill levels throughout the last over 20 years. And then I'm fairly certain I'll be involved with Al and the rest of the team and kind of breaking down who I think has got what it takes to be a ticket seller as opposed to a ticket buyer.
And you looked at me again. Thank you.
I did.
So you're here, staying in Louisville for a while. You are
Yeah.
going to be part of the Al Snow Wrestling Academy as well.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Training a said class?
Predetermined, or not predetermined, yet to be determined. Especially what my classes will be. We've talked about me doing some intermediate work as far as some of the advanced classes and advanced coursework. Maybe some class on the history of pro wrestling. So wherever they need me, that's what I'll be teaching. Like I said, I've got about 20 years of experience. Went through the WWE system, went through the Impact system, or if you want to call it that. Numerous tours abroad, New Japan USA dojo, saw some Wrestle One dojo stuff and Noah dojo stuff. How the young boys train over there. So a lot of knowledge and experience to spew out to these people. So looking forward to passing on that knowledge to people who generally want to get better or want a career here.
And help exceed throughout. And your goal is to help candidate A get to WWE, AEW, Impact, wherever their passion is at this point, right?
Yeah, I think it's dual fold for me. As far as extending my career in the pro wrestling genre, not only just in the ring, but I always looked at pro wrestling even from, I think about the time I signed a WWE contract. Like, if you're smart, you kind of realize there's a limited lifespan in this sort of in any sport or any pro sport, but especially one that's so physical and takes a toll on your body. I mean, you're just not going to recover as as you age as well as you could as you're younger. So how do you extend your involvement? How do you extend a career in this? How do you keep, essentially earning an income in pro wrestling? I don't think my days in the ring are done by any means, but I also have another, if you want to call it like injection of rejuvenation from being able to teach people the skills and impart them with the knowledge and experience that I have to, help them get to where they want to be, whether it's any of those companies you listed or somewhere else, or just teach them how to essentially stay in the game. I think that's one of the things that I've been, blessed with is, I've been able to generate numerous opportunities for myself. They always haven't been maybe taking advantage the best. I could have done better with other things, but a WWE contract where I was able to last there for about 4 years, and then Impact, working for them for about 3 years in some capacity, and numerous overseas companies and numerous tours. I've been able to do a lot of that because I understand the business and I understand how to generate those opportunities and what it takes to get them or keep them, or to create a new one when I need to. So, that's a skill in itself, and I think a lot of people nowadays, I think just because of the dominance of WWE for so long, they think that's kind of like the only game in town. Like, you have to get there to get anywhere else. That's not necessarily the case. There's wrestling is starting to thrive a little bit more so the last 12 to 18 months, and it's going to continue with, AEW popping in because they're going to, it's something new and it's getting on mainstream television.
NWA coming back even as well.
NWA coming back, and then, working with Ring of Honor, what Al is doing here at OVW to kind of rejuvenate things here and make people take notice about, it never went away. Now it's taking a big shot in the arm from what Al and the team are doing. So eyes are on pro wrestling, and WWE is no longer just the game in town where, you can earn quality money and be able to support yourself and, have a career.
Yeah, that's well said. Part of the snow scale, did you work on part of the snow scale with Chad and Al as well?
I actually did this morning, yeah. Yes, I did.
And that's actually been brought in from Major League Baseball, NFL, everything. And how did you three kind of come together with this and say, hey, this is going to help big time?
You know what? I wasn't necessarily part of the design on it as far as when I'm involved with the implementation. And I was talking to Chad about it this morning as well with Al. We had breakfast where this isn't something that we had anything near to this when I broke in. It was like, here, you paid your money, you found quality trainers, or what you thought was quality trainers, depending on where you were, and you paid X amount of dollars to get broken into the pro wrestling business, which, depending on who your trainers were, they determined what that skill set was. Unfortunately, nowadays, that's been so eroded by poor quality trainers where it's like, okay, here, give me your $2,000 and here's how you run the ropes and here's how you do your rolls and here's 5 moves that you should do in your match, and go start taking bookings. Regardless of what the skill set was or the athleticism was or the intelligence and the psychological part, because this business is very hard on your body, but the stress as you go higher in this business can be astronomical, because you have people always chipping at your heels or nipping at your heels and to take your spot, essentially. So what I think is going to be instrumental with this going forward is now people have a metric or a scale of some sort to understand what their next step is, what they need to work on. Okay, yeah, you're going to get an overall score for this particular combine, but it's broken up into multiple things where, like, the Dari system, the Dari scale, that their scan that we're doing, God, I would have loved to know 20 years ago, looking at, how my body moves and what portions of my body are weak and strong, where I need to put more work in, and where I'm susceptible to injury. Like, that would have changed so much of how I trained. Back when I started, it was like, we all worked out like bodybuilders and then went to wrestling practice to wrestle like wrestlers. So it wasn't the best form of training outside the ring to prepare me for what I was doing in the ring. And now we're trying to put that all together. So it's like, great, you got a great bench press and a great squat, but your vertical jump sucks, your shuttle run sucks, or, you know, you're opened up all these muscle imbalances from poor movement that you're opening yourself up for all these injuries. So there's something to be worked on for everybody so you can make positive progress. Because I think at least one thing that I ran into a lot, especially when dealing with the larger companies, where it's like I was always very hard on myself, but like, what can I do to get better? What do I need to work on? What do I need to do better to get more opportunity to go? And, you know, it was just a very nonchalant non-answer. You just got to work hard. You got to want it. Okay, well, I want it, but what I need to work hard on? Well, here's what you need to work hard on. If you're weak in this and you're efficient at these things, well, you know what the next step is. So then you can retest, or you can, you know, track your progress if you need to get better at your bench press or your squat or faster on a shuttle run.
And it's going to break down in-ring, out-of-ring strength. Like, this is not just, you're not strong on your legs, you're not strong on shuttle, you know, it's going to say, your mic skills are a little weak right now.
Yep.
Start talking to yourself in front of a mirror.
Yep, and that's...
Call Can Crusher.
Yes.
Get on there and have an interview with them.
Exactly. Tell the guy his wife owes me money because I'm going to put him in the ground.
Right.
But no, that's kind of where I was going, where it's like you'll know what you have to work on, and then with coaching here, either directly through the Al Snow Wrestling Academy and the resources that we have, or if you choose to go on your own and come back to us, like, you're going to know what you need to do, you know, because you will have, unfortunately, those people who, you know, will try to do it on their own, and maybe they're not going to realize that they can, and they're going to come back for further help, or you're going to have those people that are just going to jump in and go, this is what I need to do, I'm going to do it. But that would have changed totally how I approached my training and my career and my development. And I think, you know, it's going to be a huge asset to anybody who seizes it and decides to take the opportunity and run with it, because the old adage of working smarter, not always working harder. You always want to work hard, but you want to be efficient. So right. Here we're showing you how to be efficient for the skills you need to have some sort of success here.
Nice. All right, Jay, I know you got a lot to do. You are in this nice, cozy office, though, right now, chilling, but I know Al's out there biting at the bit to get you back to work, so get out there.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. We are here at the Media Combine, Mark Martinez, and joined beside me is Al Snow, who is slowly sliding an OVW contract away from me. Why is that?
Well, you know, on the scale of cumulative score, when you get a 1 as a cumulative score, you know, then it just means that you're better off buying a ticket than you are, you know, actually performing. So.
Callie was nice. She gave me a 2.2.
True, and that, again, you're in that marginal area with a 2.2.
So the Combine's actually a serious thing. Today we're going through media from around Louisville coming out and doing it. But let's talk a bit about the Combine and what you expect from the Combine itself on Saturday.
Well, what we're hoping to do is for the first time ever, actually have a quantitative tool that we can evaluate prospective talent, and also use that tool going forward to allow the talent to understand where they need to improve, where they need to bring themselves up, so that they can thus increase their potential possibility of performing on a higher level.
So they're going to go through this monthly, 6 months, yearly?
Quarterly, which, you know, that way we can always evaluate where they are, what they need to work on, what they need to improve, and it gives them a, like I said, a tool that where, as opposed to for years, in professional wrestling, there's never been anything like this. And, if a talent came to you and they were like, oh, what do I need to work on? What do I need to improve? They were always given very vague answers like, just work harder, or you need to be better at, your in-ring ability, or whatever. Nothing definitive. And this gives us definitive metrics to where we can say, well, if you improve your score here, it's going to improve your athletic ability and thus your performance in the ring, so you need to pick this up.
So you put us through the physical aspect, some of the physical aspect today. Mm-hmm. There's also camera aspect that we're going to go in on Saturday as well?
Yeah, there's also all the participants have to take an IQ test. They have to take a psychological evaluation. Those are online forms that they have to fill out, and then they will perform all the physical tests here, along with a body composition evaluation, and then they will have to do a promo. Everybody will have to perform a promo, and then they'll have it. If they have prior experience wrestling, they'll be in the ring and they'll have to perform a short match with another participant. And if they have no experience, they'll do an in-ring blow-up drill to show their overall athletic aptitude inside the ropes.
Now, what's the blow-up drill kind of consist of?
It basically consists of what they call them grape stompers, where you stand in a corner and it looks like you're trying to stomp grapes.
So Lucille Ball,
you're basically running in place, running to and from and touching the rope. It allows us to evaluate their explosive speed and their footwork and their stamina, much like the shuttle run you performed that we did timed, and then also shoulder rolls, which allows me to see what kind of coordination they have and if they have any natural ability to be able to control their bodies.
And after all Saturday is said and done, you're going to take all your evaluations back to your home, have a beer or two, settle down, and when do we find out who is, selected?
Well, we will get with all the participants, and we will come August 1st. We will select 15, whether they're male or female. They all compete equally on the same scale for the same opportunity. Those 15 that have the highest cumulative scores will be awarded 2-year scholarships along with living facilities, dormitory facilities, to attend the first ever professional wrestling trade school at OVW, which is quite unheard of.
It's unbelievable.
Nobody's ever been accredited by a state organization as an actual trade school for professional wrestling, and as such, we're not just endeavoring to teach young men and women how to wrestle, how to perform in the ring. We're also teaching them all the skills they need to have a career in sports entertainment or broadcasting. So hosting like this, producing, directing, editing, camera, operating the camera, lighting, sound, live event management, promotion, every aspect of sports entertainment and broadcasting they're learning. And the impetus for that was 2 young people that I know very well. One, Jessie Whitney, who's the wife of Tommaso Ciampa. She was a contestant on Tough Enough 2, so she came into professional wrestling as wanting to be a performer. She was eliminated during season 2. She came back season 3 on her own as an intern for the MTV production crew. She was hired on by WWE as a backstage producer and has went on to become a television producer for all the major networks, and has a great career. And then James Long taught himself how to operate a camera, do lights, do sound, editing, and he was an in-ring performer for OVW for several years, and then got so adept at editing and being so creative that I was able to help him get hired by Impact Wrestling as part of their production team, and now he works for WWE at their NXT division and he's the head of their experimental production division. So he gets to try all the new gadgets and everything when it first comes out and see what works. And
that's a job that this nerd over here, just spruced up as you can tell, was like, wow.
So, I'm very happy for him, and it's so important because it's something that even the U.S. military deals with. NFL is creating a program for their players specifically to teach their players how to have a life off the field once their on the field career ends. Because you've got people, young men and women, that devote their entire lives to a singular pursuit, And then when they achieve it, and then when it comes to an end, when inevitably it does, whether it's through injury or just simply attrition, just age, they're going to not have a direction, and they're not going to have skills to have an exit plan to have to be able to pick up and continue on with another career within the same area or of entertainment. So it leaves them just dangling in the wind, and I'm hoping that this will allow for the performers to be better performers, because they'll have a better understanding of what it is they need to do when they're in the ring, because they've operated a camera, they've done the lights, they've done the editing, they've done the directing, they know what's being looked for, and then now they perform to it. So you get a much better product on your television show or your pay-per-view. And then for the people that want to apply and don't want to be an in-ring performer, because they will be able to take the wrestling classes, and if they don't physically per se want to be in the ring and participate in the class, they can sit in and listen and watch, and they get a better appreciation for what it is that they're trying to develop and sell to an audience, and two, they have a greater understanding of what it is they're trying to sell to an audience, so that they can communicate through their writing, through their camera work, through their lighting, through their editing. They can communicate the rhythm, the feel, the emotion of what's happening in that ring to an audience much more effectively, because they've set in from the ground up and learned the aspects of what the performers in the ring have to do.
So the Combine Saturday will take place here.
Yes.
Instead of, I was telling everybody for the longest time it was going to be at Davis Arena, because Chad has not correctly told me, but it is here. Tell everybody PFR, where here is.
Here is PFR, which is Performance Fitness Rehabilitation. It is out here on Sycamore Road, near Blankenbaker, off of 64 in Louisville, Kentucky. A beautiful facility. They have all the equipment, and we have all of the professional, actual strength coaches out here to score all the participants and take them through the steps. And the other, one of the other reasons that we're doing this too is because the way Chad and I met was I approached the Kentucky Boxing and Wrestling Commission about the fact that, and it approached several other state commissions about the fact that there were no standards on becoming a professional wrestler, which I find absurd.
It is weird.
I find it incredibly insulting that if you want to be a barber, or you want to be a beautician, or if you want to be a mortician, or even like my lovely wife is a massage therapist, they had to go to a state accredited school. They had to be taught by a state accredited teacher. They had to complete a certain amount of hours, and then they went and took a test, and then they have to have continuing education credits, or they can't renew their license. And I didn't understand why that couldn't apply, and the commission, quite frankly, said that they couldn't do it. So I was like, well, you know what, we'll just do it on our own. So, that was the motivation to buy OVW and to create this type of thing, very thing. It gets confusing now because we made the announcement at WrestleMania, at WrestleCon, and since we've made the announcement, all of a sudden a term that no one in professional wrestling had ever used or associated with wrestling. Now, Ring of Honor had a combine in the beginning of May, and WWE about 2 weeks ago had a combine, and to the point they literally verbatim copied my explanation for the reason to have it and used that as what they were doing.
Yeah, you guys were the first. It's been long in the hopper. The Can Crushers knew a little bit about it, that we didn't make an announcement.
It's been months before we even made the announcement at WrestleMania that we were doing a combine. And the express purpose of doing this combine is to set standards, to have a quantifiable way of judging potential talent, to give them the opportunity, but not just let, hey, I want to be a wrestler. I've been a fan for so many years. I've sat on the couch and haven't moved. And now I just think I can get into the ring and perform at what people fail to realize, and they all make the same misnomer, which is wrestling's fake. And nothing could be further from the truth. Wrestling, as far as it being predetermined, absolutely it's predetermined. We know who's going to win. We don't go out there with an intent to compete. But the thing is, to be able to physically perform and also to withstand the real physical punishment that you have to do, and on almost a nightly basis, you have to be a very high-level athlete. You have to be able to perform, and not on a very high athletic level, but do that you have no off season. So you've got to be able to endure that and do that 200, 250 days a year sometimes. So that's why we have a psych evaluation and an IQ test. The psych evaluation is to determine whether or not you're going to be able to handle the stress emotionally, mentally, of being on the road and performing like that. And then the IQ test, because the other thing that people don't realize is just how much intellect it requires to be able to go into that ring and perform and make split-second decisions while you're performing to maintain an emotional connection with an audience that motivates them to want to pay to leave their house to pay to see you. That's incredibly difficult.
Plus the health of you and your opponent in the ring as well.
You know, and it's sad because for the last few years I've went around to a lot of different independent shows, and I see a lot of guys, and not just from a cosmetic basis. I mean, let's face it, you know, I could care less if a guy looks like Charles Atlas, or a lot of listeners probably don't know who that is, but he was a bodybuilder back in the day. You know, or Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's nice, and it makes them a little more marketable. But all I care is if at 8 minutes into the match you're so winded and so physically exhausted that you're not only a danger to your opponent, who you're now picking up and doing that exciting move that you just saw on Raw or a New Japan video or, you know, or Ring of Honor. At 8 minutes, you're picking your guy up, and now
you can't do it.
You're running the risk of either him injuring him or yourself, and not just injuring like break an arm. I'm talking about the potential goes up exponentially that someone in that ring could suffer a life-altering injury. Up to the point, and it has happened, and that was really the thing that kick-started this whole thing, was a young man out in Oklahoma, which is a state commission regulated state for wrestling, barely trained, got in the ring, took a spine buster move, a simple move, hit the back of his head, had brain swelling for 3 days, was in a coma, and they finally had to pull a plug on him and had to let him die. You know, and those accidents are happening at a much greater rate all the time. And if we ourselves, professional wrestling, don't institute some kind of higher standards and hold ourselves to some kind of higher standards, one, we're devaluing the very thing we do. Because now everybody feels like they can do it, and rightfully they can. They just pay their money.
Just from a video game, you can learn everything, right?
That's right. And they can just pay their money to, you know, their local promotion, and they're in and off they go. And now they pay their $25 for the state of Kentucky, and, you know, they get a physical, and they're a professional wrestler. We're done.
No matter what the physical says, as long as you're able to move.
As long as you pass the physical, as far, you know, which is a typical sports physical, it doesn't actually test your, you know, it doesn't test your actual physical aptitude, nor does it test your physical stamina or your strength. And that was the purpose for this, is that we can test all of that, and we can say, look, I appreciate your passion, your love, your desire to want to be a professional wrestler, but your scores indicate
It's a 2.2.
You might want to stay on the couch and watch it on TV. So.
Nice. It's a 2.2. So, real quick, one more thing, and then I'll let you go. I know you're busy today. With WWE and Ring of Honor stealing your combine word, they know that you're doing this at OVW just to excel the wrestling product forward.
Yeah.
So why steal it, in your thoughts?
Because it's a good marketing term. You know, a lot of people know what a combine is, and you know, they're going to reach out to a broader audience. I know Ring of Honor's directly was nothing more than just a tryout, no different than any other wrestling tryout. WWE's is a little more similar to what ours is, but it's you know, it's no different than what they've been. Well, like if you go down there for a tryout, they're going to put you through the same thing that they were putting you through for the combine, which is a series of exercises, and really, it's to push you physically, but also mentally, and see if you'll give up. And that's been an approach that's been applied to wrestling for
Years since you were training, right?
Hell yeah! That even when I went to Charlotte, North Carolina with Ole and Gene Anderson 38 years ago. It was, that was the approach. It took us out, ran us 5 miles up and down the stairs, 500 squats, 400 push-ups, things like that to see who would hang in there. What we're trying to do is we're not trying to punish somebody for their passion to want to be into professional wrestling. We're not trying to, wear them out and blow them up so that they'll go home and tell everybody, oh my God, if you think that professional wrestling is fake, oh my God, what they may put me through is ridiculous. The whole purpose of this is to actually have a test to be able to observe and to measure just exactly what someone's potential athletic skills are and how applicable those are to professional wrestling. Even so much so as when we're doing the combine, which I know WWE didn't do, is we're instituting the use of the new technology called the DARI system, which is a GPS type system where they scan your body. I forget how many different points they scan you with, and it's markerless, so they don't put any markers on you. And without force plates, they can scan your movements in a 5-minute scan, and they can get a readout that will tell them like joint force, kinetic force, joint torque, and they can use those biomechanics to be able to evaluate when you might potentially have an injury based on your physical movements and how you can improve your athletic performance by changing those movements.
Who brought that in? That's
Chad.
Unbelievable.
Chad brought that in. He was the one that got that hooked up, and it's an incredible tool that we can use to now, and for any athletes that come in, it's an incredible tool for them because even if they don't go on and be a professional wrestler, they now have information that they know that, hey, I've got to change these things so that I can improve my athletic performance and it'll go up exponentially and also potentially avoid an injury.
That's unbelievable.
It's amazing, and nobody's ever done it. And again, that's because the motivation behind what we're doing is not to test your mettle, it's not to test your intestinal fortitude. Our motivation is to test your athletic ability and see what potential you have to actually come in and perform as a professional wrestler. The higher you score, then the more potential you have to, be on a WWE level because you're a much better athlete. And that approach has never been taken. And I don't believe, even though I'm sure if they hear this, they'll probably copy it and then say that that's what they're trying to do.
Right.
But I guarantee, I can't say for certain because I wasn't there, but I know what they've done in the past. And I know what I've heard about this combine that they did is basically the same as that they have exercises that they have. It's a set. Anybody that watched wrestling with my family will have seen what they put people through, and it's just really, again, it's to push you to see if you're going to quit. It's not to push you to see what your athletic ability, your athletic ability is, and if it's conducive to professional wrestling, it's just to, hey, are you going to give up or are you going to
mentally strong enough, physically on their aspect strong enough?
And we're going to test that as well. I mean, the whole purpose of doing it at a bench press is not just to see how many reps you do, is one, how quick are you to give up? If you can't do the set number. Two, if you knew about this for how many months before you showed up here.
Why weren't you practicing?
Why weren't you training to be able to do at least the base number of reps or the base number for squat or you get a base number as far as a shuttle run or pull-ups? You had months. We put this information up since WrestleMania.
I'm sorry.
At the beginning of April, and people have an opportunity to go, oh, okay, this is what they're expecting. Here's what I need to work on, and let me show up in the best condition I can do so that I can have the best chance at this amazing opportunity, which is a $500,000 investment. 15 scholarships for 2 years to the trade school, plus a living facility. It's more than $500,000 in investing in future talent. So
that's amazing within itself. Chad Miller's running around giving
Yeah.
you thumbs up and everything, so I know you need to go. So I'll let you go. Al, I'll be in contact with you before we leave Sunday, so thank you for jumping on podcast again.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
So that was my little trip through the media combine, and guys, I knew I did horribly. My vertical was a negative. I lifted very little. I'm a trash man. I lift garbage bags. I know my role, and in all serious, guys, this is tough. This is going to be tough. What the talent is going to go through on Saturday. I did 5 things, and I'm not sore today because, garbage man, we have to do, garbage stuff. We lift things. But I could see somebody not being prepared for this. Al said it right. You've had 2 months of what is being expected of you. So here is what you have to do going forward to Saturday. And, it's just everything's on the line. This is, as Al said and as Chad said before, and Chad will say again, this is $500,000 on the line for OVW. A scholarship for 2 years to the Al Snow Wrestling Academy. This is real. This is life-changing, as Al said. Yeah, you could go in and you could become a wrestler, and then, one move later, what happens if you're not taken care of? So go in and learn the business. You learn the booking part of it. Learn the camera. Learn the media relations. Everything that they're going to give you is right at your grasp. This is your chance to become the star that you want to be. Listen to what Jay Bradley said. This did not exist for him. He said it's a great idea. He would have loved to have done this 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Bros, come on. Something's going to happen, that this is happening for OVW. Al, completely agree with him. He has said the word combine has now been thrown out willy-nilly. But it has been way before WrestleMania that OVW has used this word combine and used it correctly. Not as a tryout, not as whatever. This is legit, folks. They're going to grade you. And again, we will be there tomorrow. I'll be bringing you some Facebook Live stuff. I'll be recording some more interviews for a podcast to be put together at said later date about what's going to go on with the combine. Chad could not make it to this podcast as he has just had a rough May. He really has. He's in a neck brace. He's going to have a gold grill, because he's just had to have surgery done on his mouth. No, he really is not going to have a gold grill. He's probably going to punch me once he hears this. As long as I run from him, I'll be okay. Maybe his wife will help me out. But, all right, so shifting gears. Last night I had the chance to, like I said, attend one of Al Snow's seminars, trainings, however you want to put it. And there was several wrestlers there. And I did get to speak to 3 of them. So you'll hear KTD, Lily, and Megan Bain, who is taking on Callie this Saturday at Saturday Night Special for the OVW Women's Championship. But what I saw in the ring is the passion of everyone that was there. just learning and soaking in all the knowledge from Al. At one point, I thought, hey, I'm going to take some pictures and post them online so you guys can see, what's going on. But then I thought to myself, I'm like, no, for me, that's kind of breaking the fourth wall. Let them have their training. Let them have their seminar to themselves. You guys, if you want to know what it's about, sign up for the Al Snow Wrestling Academy. Come down and do the Combine. You'll get to know what it's about there. This is their time, and they deserve their time. Thank you to Al and Chad for allowing me to go in and experience this. It's unbelievable. What they did in the ring at such a young stage in their career is phenomenal. But listening to Al, being able to hear Al just say, I know say words is a stupid way of saying it, but just to put together words to tell these kids about the business, and some of it trickled into this old Can Crusher as well, just life overall. It truly, truly made sense, and you saw them all just saying yes. They understand, first of all, his passion, his knowledge of the wrestling business, and now they are getting it complete one-on-one. So, like I said, it's amazing, and this whole week with OVW has been nothing but amazing. And tomorrow the Combine, and then Saturday night special, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Always in contact with them. We have interviews out the wazoo set up, but right now I want to bring to you a couple more interviews. Real quick Combine questions for KTD, Lily, and Meg, and then we'll be back to wrap this up. We are backstage at Davis Arena, and we are with rising star KTD of OVW. KTD, welcome to Can Crushers.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And we have a lot more set up for KTD down the line, but this question is about Saturday. You're going to the Combine, and what do you expect to get out of this amazing thing that OVW is doing?
Honestly and truly, I expect to learn a lot more about myself, especially with the snow scale coming into play. Learning about my limitations and learning, where I can improve, and where I should pull back a little bit more. So it's not just a learning experience as far as on an athletic scale, but on a personal scale as well.
You brought up the snow scale, and that's a great segue. You guys were the first to hear about it before anybody else. I know you got it like the Wednesday before WrestleMania. How did you guys take that in the locker room? Was it a shock that, crap, I'm going to be judged now, or thank God I'm going to be judged?
It was honestly a plethora of feelings. I know for me personally, it was one of those thank God I'm going to be judged kind of feelings, because, like I said, getting in the ring, being in the sport, it's a completely different experience than, just sitting there watching it, and thinking like, oh, I'm going to do this and that, one day. And then when you actually get in here, you gotta figure out who you are, and sometimes you need a lot of help with that. And I'm one of those people, I sometimes need people to point me, in a direction, to show me who I am, and what I'm good at, and where I can improve.
Right, and that's what the snow skill's all about, right?
Yes, most definitely.
So, all right, we will see you Saturday at the Combine, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, I can't wait.
We are backstage at Davis Arena with rising star Lily. Lily, you are competing at the Combine this Saturday, correct?
Yes, I will be competing.
And what do you look to get out of this Combine? There's so much on the table, and are you ready?
I believe that I am ready. A lot of my fans know me as being Dustin Jackson's girlfriend, but what they don't know is that I train day and night behind the scenes, so I've been preparing for this, and I'm really excited to compete against some of the OVW veterans.
Is there something that you think you're going to stand out for more than, say, Callie?
Well, I actually come from a different background. I used to compete in fitness competitions, so my background happens to be in weightlifting and training. So I have more of that athletic ability and gymnast behind what I do. So I feel like that might stand out just a little bit.
Nice. Nice. All right, we'll see you Saturday, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Yeah.
So we are at Davis Arena with Megan Bain. Megan, you are upstar. You know, you have a match Saturday against Callie for the OVW Women's Championship. But first, you'll be heading to the Combine. What do you look to get out of the Combine?
Out of the Combine, I want to see where my weaknesses are so that I can improve on them. I want to see what my strengths are so I know maybe I don't have to focus so much on this thing, but focus more on this. And, of course, I want to place within the top 15, hopefully the top 5, but in the top 15 so that I can get the scholarship, go to the new trade school, and learn everything that I can from Ohio Valley Wrestling.
And a quick one more question for you. Callie was talking a little smack earlier at the media combine about how she's smarter than you and she's just going to take you out. Any words for her?
Callie can think she's as smart as she wants, but clearly I'm a lot bigger than her and stronger than her, so she's going to have to really pull something out of her sleeve if she wants to win.
All right, Meg, thanks for stopping by tonight, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Okay, thank you.
So 3 different people, 3 different kind of outlooks on the Combine. Guys, there's going to be a plethora of people, talented athletes at the Combine this Saturday in Louisville, hosted by Ohio Valley Wrestling. And you heard KTD, he wants to know how he can improve. Lily telling us her background and know that she's going to be able to do this and work on this. And then there's Meg that just wants to bowl through this and place in the top 5. And I'll tell you, after seeing some of her matches, some of her training, just speaking with her, I don't see why she can't. Guys, again, one more shout out as we have Saturday Night Special this Saturday at Davis Arena. Make sure you get down there. A lot of great matches set up for it. You can go to the website and check it out. Also on Facebook. Again, thank you to Al Snow. Thank you to Callie. Thank you to Jay Bradley. Thank you, KTD. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Megan Bain. And even though he's just lingering around, thank you to Chad Miller. Without you guys, none of this is possible. And I have one more thing to say to all of you. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. See you at Davis Arena.